Today I wanted to talk about something that was in the news yesterday. I missed the whole thing, but I got caught up. One of my group members brought it to my attention about remembering my story about being a obese teenager. Uh, and pointed my attention to a town hall that Oprah Winfrey had last night on ABC. It was like an evening special where she addressed some issues and that's going on in America.
I took on the shame that the world gave to me. For 25 years, making fun of my weight was national sport.
Emotional, shocking, revelatory.
This is it.
Oprah's return to primetime television tonight here on ABC.
You've received a lot of criticism for that, you and your family. What do you want to say about that?
In society as a whole, around obesity and around the stigma and the lack of support at every level, in varying degrees, the lack of advocacy or social groups or just this is really lacking because of how society feels about obesity. And then there was some talk about the medications because that is what she's trying to clear the air about mainly. And now all of those social biases and all of those to me overshadow these medications, because it's nothing new that we have medications to treat diseases. Okay, that's what they're there for. They're tools to treat disease. Now, when it comes to obesity, people think that this is a crutch or it's a get out of jail card, or it's cheating in some kind of way, which I don't understand why, because any other medical condition, and this one is multifaceted, is metabolic, is hormonal, it's mental, emotional, physical. So it's a lot of indicators, and stems from a lot of things. So I don't know why it's looked at as not a actual condition or disease state when it is, or even a mental health problem to a great degree, but definitely a metabolic problem and affecting so many systems in our body. And we wouldn't tell somebody who had heart disease or anything like that, oh, just don't, you're taking a crutch because you got the heart disease. So maybe you should have just tried some fish oil and see how that worked for you. Or oh, you got to take the fish oil. Maybe if you just stop having fat in your diet completely, or you would not have heart disease. And all of that is well and true, but it's still, and maybe said in some degree, but it's still not how overweight or obese people are addressed when it comes to getting treatment for their condition. Treatments that will save their lives. Now, I am no proponent of either any vehicle, as long as you get it in there and you're using it the proper way. So whether that be medications, oral, or injection, or whether that be surgery, or if you just did it naturally, if you fast, if you just learn to balance exercise and diet, no matter what you are doing, as long as it's healthy and not harming you, the vehicle does not matter to me. The tool doesn't matter to me. What matters is the mindset of these people. And a lot of times a made up mindset is why they cannot finish this or complete or get to the goal that they want to be with the weight, is mindset. And what triggers those bad mindsets or bad way of thinking is not seeing success fast enough, or seeing limited success, or being talked about, or being shamed, being looked at as other than, and being being made to feel as if you don't belong, or you don't fit in, or you're in the way. So these are the things that perpetuates the cycle of eating and giving up on good behaviors that they may be trying to do. But like anything that is addictive, which food is, one of the major causes of obesity, is the major cause of addiction to food, is a major cause of obesity, and along with hormone and some genetics that go along with it, and physical ability to be physical, that help that all they all work together in causing obesity. But we know that when you eat too much, you will be obese, and a lot of that eating too much is coming from addictive place. Okay, and any addiction will require a person to have a made up mind to do it and not look back, but also with, just like various other addictions, you may need help. You may need a tool. You may need an aid. You may need support. You may need comfort. You may need to have therapy. You may need to have all of these things. And this is true of obesity. This is the same. This is true of obesity. And my problem with people saying that the modality that they use to uh, uh, get off the weight is cheating, is that any other addiction, if you got help, would not be considered cheating. If you use a tool to help you, it would not be considered cheating. But when it comes to weight, it's the stigma that's placed on people, because there's always that thing that you're already lazy and you don't want to do the work, or that you don't have willpower, and on and on and on and on and on, and those negative cycles that people say and talk about privately and in front of the person as well. But these are the things that play out in the person's mind also. So as you're saying, the negativity is coming from the outside. They already have all this going on between their ears all day long. The person that's overweight, they know they're overweight, okay, and they probably know every diet known to man of how to lose weight. That you think they've looked into it, okay. This is a major thing in their life, so they don't need like your suggestions of the diets and who you know that lost this much weight constantly. Now if you want to encourage, that's one thing, but I guarantee you, this person who is morbidly obese, they know about dieting because they already been dieting their whole life, okay. That is just sure, that's just a fact. That's just what how it is when you've grown up obese into adulthood, okay. And everybody seems to have an opinion, but they don't help. They're not trying to help. Even in my own family, I had some people, my family try to help, but the help was coming off really aggressive, and it was demeaning. Some of the time, it was demeaning, and it even in their. I know they came from a good place, or they want a better life for me in the future. At that moment, what they were doing were damaging me for the rest of my life. That I issues that I have to deal with for the in my mind, judging myself for the rest of my life, okay, in their help, okay. So the help that people try to give is usually judgmental, and some kind of suggestion about a diet, or some kind of toughen it up, or you need to get control of yourself, or grab her up by the collar and she needs to stop eating, or really aggressive things like that. Those are traumatic, okay. And they don't help. That's not help. Help is when I say being there for the person, encouraging them in the positive way, participating in it. If you want to walk with them, you want to change a diet, you want to give the mom a break from the cooking and worrying, you want to have conversation with the dad, you want to help take to the doctor, you want to be a good family member, aunt, uncle, church member, whatever. You want to spend time with the person. Those things help. Those things are help. Those are support. That's what people would do for any other person who was dealing with a child with special needs, or a family disabled family member. And to many degrees, this is exactly what that is. Okay. And then other issue that I wanted to talk about was this thing about the recent use of these diabetes medications for obesity. I'm not sure why people think, oh, it's bad that they're taking the medicine from the diabetic, because if you are not overweight, then this shouldn't apply to you. But 9 times out of 10, the person who is obese is already pre-diabetic, so they already fit the criteria. And which one is more important? Is diabetes more important than obesity? Is that how you want to look at it? that's like the chicken versus the egg, because a lot of people have obesity because, I'm sorry, a lot of people have diabetes because of the obesity. Okay, so what, that's like, which one is more important? That comes from your own perspective of which one is more important, because to some degree, not being overweight, not being obese, if you don't have diabetes, it's gonna come. If you're obese, it's coming. Don't it, if you live long enough, it's coming. So you prevent diabetes from happening, you prevent high blood pressure, you prevent of so many more things from happening. So you want to wait till the person is diabetic to treat them? That makes no sense. Both of these conditions are equally important and equally deserve our attention, and there needs to be more medicine produced. That's just the plain fact, because I believe, and I think it should, if this can prevent people from having to have, some people from having to have surgeries, or start addictive or controlled medications for or the antidepressants for obesity and things like that. I think it should be standard of care, and it should be coming up really soon. If you can prevent somebody from getting the 300, 400 pounds, and not having to have all those complications, not having to have all the trauma, and early teaching them better relationships with food. The earlier the better, with some of these behavioral modifications, then that is probably going to get half of the people who have type 2 diabetes not having type 2 diabetes. So yeah, so the drug companies, they just need to make some more medicine, and they need to bring that price down. It's not that hard, and no one of these conditions are bigger than the other one when it comes to the real people who need the medication, the obese and the diabetic. Now, these other people who are getting it when they don't meet the criteria, that's a different issue. Now, that's an argument in itself. But this idea that obesity is less important than diabetes is stupid. There's no, I can't even say no other word. It's stupid. Okay, and that kind of thinking needs to be out of our society. And I heard somebody say a good point. The problem is this society is, somebody wants to look better than the next person instead of everybody looking good. So it's about keeping the secret of how we're staying skinny so you can look better than the next person, when there are people who would just have a whole better life, a whole better outcome on life, a whole different trajectory of life if these secrets weren't kept just to the elite or the skinny gang. That's what it seems like. It's a gang of people who monopolize these treatments early, and forfeit the ones who could really benefit from it in a lot of ways. And these medications are not that new. And being a pharmacist, I had lots of people on Ozempic, and honestly, I saw a few people losing weight with it. They lost some weight. I saw some people losing some weight, but how many people I had on Ozempic, there was not these, how all you see all these people losing weight. It was not like that. So that tells me that people were not taking their medicine. That's what it tells me. Because this should have been like spread worldwide already. If just based off the people with diabetes, they should have been. This is no secret. It's one of the side effects of the medication. So I just assumed that in my area where I was practicing pharmacy, they weren't taking it. They just had it in the refrigerator until now that you see that you can lose weight, and now people are taking it. This bottom line, this is not a new phenomenon. It's been known. This is a known side effect of Ozempic for a long time. It's just now the widespread have caught on to it, and I'm glad that it's getting the indication for obesity. And it needs to be studied some more, and see how we can fit this into the standard of care, so that we won't have to use extreme measures to help people or lose weight, or they can have a step before going there to getting the weight off before surgery and things like that, and probably not having to be on different classes of medication due to the weight or due to their mental health. Okay, so I hope that helps some people from a personal perspective and kind of a medical perspective. This channel is not me giving medical advice, it's me telling you my story. This is my life as a person who has dealt with their weight their entire life. This is nobody's fault. I just want to say that it's nobody's fault, and it's something that needs to be changed. Our thinking around weight and around food needs to be changed as a society. It's not just the fat people. Everybody needs to change the way they see food and how they celebrate the rewards that we give, the joy you're getting from eat. All of that needs to be reevaluated at a young age and taught better relationship with food and better relationships with coping. And maybe it'll take help some people have better relationships with their children all around, because you have a different reward system. You don't have to reward them with food or with the out into some food or something that's already centered around food. And that's even the skinny ones, the small. We reward them that way, and we don't talk to them enough about what they are good at. We're just constantly harping on the problem that is being that's held. Even if your child has no medical conditions, a lot of times they have some psychological problems going on, some behavioral problems, or some they need to improve their self-esteem. It's a lot of things that need to be addressed with children, and obesity is one of them, and how we deal with food is another. Okay, and that should be the whole family. It shouldn't be one person struggling with their weight and they're the only ones in the house having to deal with different diets of different meal plans and stuff like that. It should be the culture of the whole family. Everybody needs to clean up the way they eat. Everybody needs to get active. It needs to happen as a society. It needs to be, we need reprogramming on activity and what's fun and being social and just being a human to one another with kindness in general. Treating people the way you want to be treated. Getting back to that. Okay, so I know you wouldn't like to be called fat all day or reminded all day or put into humiliating situations and questioning about different things every time someone sees you, or crazy suggestions every time someone sees you. You wouldn't like that. And so a lot of people don't understand how people become recluse in 600-pound life in the house. Well, this is how it happens. This is how it happens. They start withdrawing because of all of those pressures and all those things, and people are going to say this, and then they're telling themselves that in the mind. So if we just did a better job of being being people, of being human, having some compassion for people. I'm not saying that we should ignore the fact that these people need to do something about their weight, because it is ultimately going to affect their health at some point. And I'm realist. I'm not into everybody size is a good size and just be proud of that body size. That's not a realistic thing. And nobody 300 and 400 pounds with a lot of extra fat and skin and rolls and everything is saying, "Oh, I'm so happy to be like this." Nobody is like doing. I don't even know like sumo wrestlers that's their job and they're trained to be like that, and they actually eat very healthy. It's just a lot, and they don't do anything. But they don't. I don't even think they want to be that big forever. So it's a lie people tell themselves. Nobody wants to be that big. I bet if you got to choose today, if I have to have a weight problem for the rest of my life and I don't, nobody's going to choose to be fat. I'm sorry. So that's a lie. That you just loved your body so much that you like to be fat. Now, you shouldn't hate yourself. I'm telling you, I was near 300 pounds and I thought I was the best thing coming. Nobody can tell me nothing about how I looked, you know what I mean? But I still know I was cute, you know what I mean? But I still had made up rules in my mind about what fat people can do and what fat people can't do, and on what they can wear and what they can't wear, what colors and all of this and what patterns. I made up all of these rules in my mind about fat people and what and how I should be based on the information I was getting all around me. So I'm not saying that you have to be down on the dumps because you're not out of shape, or you got a extra this or that, or you got some dimples. No, be proud of yourself in that sense, but don't walk around here acting like you want to be that big. That isn't. It's just not true. I don't care who's saying it, and it's not about body shaming. No, you need to be happy with yourself, whatever shape you form you're in, but you need to be healthy, and that is the bottom line, because you can be skinny and be unhealthy. I was down to 120 pounds, and I was very skinny, but I was very unhealthy. I was very unhealthy, and that is not how you want to be. Okay, and then the other flip side of this, the counterparts of um, not eating food, extremely skinny people that don't want to eat food, that disease, that state that we can't even talk about, because there's like so much compassion on that level, and I don't want any compassion to be taken away, but do you see the polar opposite? You know what I mean? And we can say that that person is doing all the willpower, all the strong. Yes, you can do it. That you're telling the fat person, they're doing that. They're doing it in a dangerous way, and neither one is better than the other. Okay, and no one shouldn't be sympathized for and given so much attention and delicately treated, and the other one, ridiculed, ostracized, looked down on, and treated in a manner that they shouldn't be treated at their age, or their level of understanding. Okay, a lot of times big kids that are obese are big, okay, but they are kids. Let me tell you that. Obese kids are kids. 11-year-old obese child is an 11-year-old obese child with 11-year-old obese child's mind. Just because their body is big does not mean they are adult, and they should not be subject to adult problems and be treated roughly as you would treat an adult. Okay, they are still children, even though they're big. Remember that. It might do you some good and them some good, because it is very hard trying to navigate between kids being mean to you and adults being mean to you. And that includes teachers and healthcare providers and all of that with this, because it's a society as a whole. It's not just one area, one place. And it's very disheartening when I hear things that are still being done to kids, teens that were done to me, and when I was a child, and we're supposed to be so reformed, enlightening, and woke, but these things, these cycles are still perpetuated. So we need to do better. We need to do better as being humans. We need to be better humans. So then we can talk to the obese person, the diabetic person, the person who doesn't want to eat at all. We can talk to them with some humanity. Okay, we just need to start treating everybody a little bit better, and considering what problem you deal with, considering that you have an issue that you deal with, that you've had some area that you failed at, remembering that imperfection in your own life, and showing these people some grace, and stop looking at the image and realize that there's a person inside of there. No matter how, if you agree with their lifestyle or not, there's a person in there, and you may have something positive to say that will keep them one close further from just falling off completely, or becoming, detaching themselves from the world completely. So be kind. Say some kind things. Even if you know that they don't come to your mind, practice saying some kind things until they do come to your mind, and hopefully they pierce your heart for some of these people, because obesity is a health condition. It's not a laziness. It's a health condition, and it should be treated as such. And medications, procedures, and all of that, or behavioral modifications that you would do with any other disease state, should be applied to the obesity. Okay, So that's all. That's what I got to say on that. That's that on that. Okay. So I hope I got you all the way together on how you view obesity in this country. Okay. And how you look at obesity medications. Okay. So, hey, whoever you are out there, them skinny folks, stop taking all the Wegovy from my diabetic and from my obese patients. Stop taking my Ozempic from my diabetic patients. Okay, they need their medicine. Okay, stop it. Stop it. All right, friends, we shall see you again and again and again. Good night.